First, it is an absolute honor for me to introduce your host for today. It is Mabusang's brainchild that has us all in the room, and from the enthusiasm that we got from the initial call, the empty seats notwithstanding. There's definitely a need for us to try and work some of this content for emerging marketers, for emerging events managers, program managers. And so we're very pleased to be able to partner with ShaiBoi for this project.
I've been in the industry for over 10 years, and the gap has always been the same. It's been a niche, it's been missing people who don't have the skills of being able to do events on a heartbeat. You know, you come in, you put your suitcase, and you have to run a huge event. That there is no manual besides just a brief from a client. We cannot prepare you for technical failures. We can't. They happen. But it's how you deal with technical failures. We cannot prepare you for rain. It's nature. But you have to prepare you how you're going to deal with rain. When you have an event, it happens, you know. And that's one of the unfortunate things. Mother Nature, she's mean like that.
I started my career as a TV professional, documentary production. And I realized about 10 years into my career, into my business as an entrepreneur, that things were changing. People were no longer looking for the service that I was trained to give in a particular way. And let's be honest, everybody who has a smartphone today has the capacity to be a documentary filmmaker. They don't need my master's degree to do it. Okay? So if I didn't change tack when I did and how I did, I would have been in trouble.
Why youth? The tourism industry constantly talks about four things. Inclusive growth. They constantly talk about, let's do inclusive growth. Let's include the SMMEs. Let's include all the subsectors into the tourism industry. But we are talking in the face of really high youth unemployment. 64.3%, I think, when I checked, is sitting within young people that are not employed within the industry. So in the face of that, it's quite scary that this inclusive growth is not necessarily channeled particularly to young people. And if we're going to talk about inclusive growth, how dare do we talk about inclusive growth that does not really focally talk about young people within that space, especially in the face of the high employment rates that we see, particularly amongst the youth?
Obviously, with external and internal events, you are exposed to a lot of stakeholders, and that's what I want to share with everybody in the room, that, and I think Minister touched on this as well, that your network is very important. Relationships are very, very important. I can't stress this enough. Half of the things we do, it's because of the people that we know, people who are our stakeholders, like your Brenda says, United Nations, International Labour Relations, Facebook, Vodacom, Uber, Samsung, so many stakeholders. And you don't reach those people, especially the leaders in those institutions, without a relationship, without building that relationship, without being parallel with their thinking, without sharing their values.
Mandela Day this year is celebrating 10 years of existence, and it has been great. Let's not take away the good jobs that we've done, but also it was not sustainable. We had corporates, we had people painting a wall one day in a year. And what about the rest of the year? We had corporates and individuals providing food for ECDs, for orphanages, but it was only once a day. What happened for the other days? What happened throughout the whole year? And that's how come we came up with what we call the new chapter, the next 10 years. What does Mandela Day mean for the next 10 years? Basically, we've looked at education and literacy, food and nutrition, shelter, sanitation, and active citizenship.
You know, as you move into your professional career, you need to realize that the game has changed significantly. It has moved on totally. So beyond what you read in your textbooks, much as we talk about in our country realpolitik, there's something called real life and real business. And in the real life and real business environment, you as an individual have to do your level best to deliver value? And that's really what people want out of you, is value. How, in your role and in your position, looking at what you have available and disposable to you, how do you deliver value?
You go to all these posh venues and hotels, and you don't even get to experience the coffee downstairs because you're worried about your event, you're worried about the execution of your event. You've spent hours planning and reminiscing on this event, making sure that nothing goes wrong, and including the teaspoon for those who are, making sure that it's set the right way. And all those things are things that you don't get taught at school. You don't get taught to say these are the things that you will come across in eventing.